I'm gonna follow you.
There will be critical thinking tests. Critical thinking, okay? And so this will be a taste test. This first test will show you how I test for Bio 242. Bio 241, there was critical thinking, but just only a little bit, right? Here, there'll be a lot. You're going to bring your brains when you come take the test. You know what? If you've been listening, you will do well. Just don't. There's a lot of students who will write a million sentences. It doesn't make sense. I just still mark you wrong, and they will fight and fight and fight with me. I said, don't write too many sentences. The next sentence makes it wrong. If you think, just in one sentence you can write all of the answers. That's it. Don't add more to your answer. Don't forget for the hormones. Remember, I told you the for the hormones. I think it will help you if you just review the different hormones. Concentrate on the major oh, remember the flow chart, right? In your endocrine worksheet, I'll hand it. Remember? So what happens if you have a decrease in T3, T4? So the negative feedback mechanism. Remember, the hypothalamus is key. What hormone does it release? The releasing hormone. Where is it going? So, by the way, and I'm going to hand you your worksheets. Sir, remember, when you study these hormones, you always concentrate on the most common antidiuretic hormone, oxytocin. So let's review. What does oxytocin do?
For contraction.
Contraction, very good, right? For us females, very easy to remember for labor and for breast milk, okay? So, that's the function of oxytocin. By the way, did you know, have you ever, because just remember, I'm not gonna, but remember that one, okay? Remember, oxytocin is key for the milk let down, and the more the baby suck, the more milk comes out, right? But remember what I'm telling you. The two target organs of oxytocin, your uterus, right? And the mammary glands. If you remember that, that will help you in answering one of the questions in your lecture test, okay? Then, when do you need to make ADH? What is
when you're dehydrated?
Yes, very good. Okay? That's what I want you, how I want you to study this hormone. So anti-diuretic hormone, or ADH. Anti-diuresis, so it prevents PT. It goes to the kidneys to conserve water, right? So it must be going on when I'm dehydrated. Okay? Growth hormone. What's the function? Do you remember? You can explain why growth hormone is a diabetogenic hormone, right? The diabetogenic effects of these hormones. Remember? Any hormone, most of these hormones, their side effect is increases the blood sugar level, right? It increases the sugar level in the blood. Why? Anytime there's an increase in demand for energy, you must increase the sugar level in the blood.
So if your sugar level is low, your body is going to secrete the growth hormone.
If your sugar level is low, it's not. Well, if your sugar level, don't confuse yourself. If your sugar level is low, what responds? It's the pancreas. Really, right?
Good. So how is the growth hormone related to the sugar level in your body?
Remember, when the growth hormone is high, what does it do? It increases the sugar level in the blood. You're growing. You have an increased demand for sugar, right? And so what happens is, if it increases the sugar level in the blood, they also look, I think I see your question. They also look at the relationship between sugar and growth hormone. They analyze that increased sugar level in the blood exerts a negative feedback effect on growth hormone. That's why people the children, if you give them too much carbs, they won't grow to their potential. Okay? You know the terms acromegaly, right? Dwarfism. So for thyroid hormone, you should also know the function of that metabolism, remember? And of course, increased thyroid hormone, what will it do to the sugar level again? Increase again, right? Because you're increasing your metabolism, okay? Uh, Hyperthyroidism, cretinism. You remember, look at figure 16.10. Don't forget what you need to make thyroid hormones is iodine, okay? And then the pancreas, very important for glucose homeostasis. Okay? So diabetes. I know. And you should know the organs, the endocrine glands, where these that respond. I remember in the past, in my past test, there would be a section where I would ask, what endocrine gland do you think is going to be affected by the following conditions? Let's say iodine deficiency. What endocrine gland is going to be affected? So you're going to write thyroid gland, right? How about if I wrote hypercalcemia, high calcium levels? What do you think? What endocrine gland will respond?
Calcitonin.
Calcitonin. So where is that from? Thyroid
Thyroid.
gland. If I ask what endocrine gland, you're not going to write the hormone, you're going to write the endocrine gland. How about anemia? I remember asking that, just so.
Red blood cells. Has something to
Kidney.
do with the red blood cells.
That's very good. The kidneys.
Kidneys.
Remember? That's why I had you do that a little bit, the blood activity. Remember, erythropoietin is secreted by your kidneys. Okay, very good. So then for the blood, you remember the components of plasma, 17 point. Oh, first of all, 17.1, figure 17.1, you should know the components of blood. It's plasma and their formed elements. Okay? And the plasma, you go to table 17.1. The plasma is mainly water, plus the three major proteins I want you to remember, right? And everything else is in the plasma. Then, what else? Of course, that flow chart, that here, figure 17.11. Well, the red blood cell is not included here. But remember that there's only one stem cell that makes all your formed elements, right? So I remember having this flow chart, this picture, but the picture is just there to hopefully help you remember the hormones. That was the question. The question was
What
about
page is
hormones.
that?
I don't know because this is an old edition. Figure 17.11.
This one right here?
Anyway, what I
Oh,
want you to
boy.
remember are
Oh,
the
I see.
hormones that are key to making these red blood cells. Where do you think is this blood cell formation going on? Where is it happening?
Bone marrow.
That's very good. The bone marrow, which is your bone. Don't forget that because that's key to answering a few questions in my test. This cell formation, blood cell formation happens in the bone. In other words, the hormones that you were going to write, erythropoietin, thrombopoietin, the colony stimulating factor, what's the target organ of those three hormones? Your bone,
Bone marrow.
right? They're going to go to the bone marrow, the bone. And there's many other hormones that affect bone, right? You have your calcitonin, parathyroid hormone, you have growth hormone, all of those things, okay? Then the function of your red blood cells, the key is looking at figure 17.4. It's made up of nothing but millions and millions of hemoglobin. You look at hemoglobin, what does it contain? There's the central heme with the globin protein, and the heme contains iron. We discussed iron deficiency anemia, right? We discussed how it can possibly be a deadly condition, okay? So you should know why. Always know why. And then, of course, for the WBC, there will be this one, you have some clinical cases, there will be WBC discount, and then you figure out the plan of action. You're going to give antibiotics to this one. Are you going to give this one allergy medications, whatever? So you should know. When it's neutrophil, so you look at this one, table 17.2. Just very quickly, bacterial infection, which of the white blood cells are
Neutrophils and monocytes.
Yes, neutrophils for new
Acute.
infection and monocytes for an old infection, right? And then bacteria is, eosinophils and basophils for allergy, inflammation, right? What do basophils release?
Histamine.
And heparin. What is histamine? Okay, what does heparin do?
Thins the blood.
Thins the blood. And then lymphocytes for what kind?
Virus
or
or
fungal
fungus.
infection. Okay? And then blood clotting, blood typing also. So don't forget, for blood clotting, you have the intrinsic and extrinsic blood typing. Okay? Intrinsic and extrinsic clotting pathway. So don't forget also the function of your red blood cells. It transports both oxygen and carbon dioxide, remember? But remember, we discussed the difference between carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. How carbon monoxide is dangerous, and it's because it bumps off the oxygen. So the red blood cell, even though you have healthy red blood cells, it's not able to transport oxygen. That's why we die. And I remember telling the class about the fact that cigarette smoke also has carbon monoxide, right? So what do you think? Can you predict the hematocrit of people with smokers? What do you predict their hematocrit? Would it increase or decrease?
Increases.
I think it will increase, right? So increase hematocrit plus, I don't know if you remember, we were talking in Bio 241, remember how cigarette smoke also targets our elastic fibers, right? And so if it destroys the elastic fibers, and we're going to talk about blood vessels. So the arteries, they have elastic fibers. Of the three blood vessels, arteries have elastic fibers. And I'm sure you understand why. Look at your heart. It pumps all of the blood. Where is it going to go? Out